So it's important for students to be able to ask for help along the way, because different students will encounter different hurdles in learning. One way that we do this is we have an open frequently asked questions channel in my unit of study, where I not only answer the questions that come up on this online discussion board, I post anonymized versions of emails that I receive so students can see that other students are asking for help, and perhaps where you're not alone in any of the struggles you experience. In lecture teaching, I sometimes will read out a question or an anonymized version of a question, and I've had students afterwards come up to me and say they were excited to hear that their question became the focus question for the lecture, in terms of unpacking something that one or more students had been struggling with. So students will seek help from a range of different places. And increasingly, I think over the past 5 years or so, I've noticed students moving more towards student-to-student channels and asking each other for help. And that can be a challenge for an educator, because sometimes you can see or you find out that incorrect information has crept into advice that students are sharing among each other. But it's also a really great opportunity for students to support each other and to hear from their peers about shared struggles. So it's a great thing, but it's also something that can be challenging for the teaching team. And I think it doesn't need to be one or the other. The teachers can maintain a line of communication of the kind of correct information and address any misalignments that might come up along the way, but without sort of splitting into one or the other. We can have teacher-to-student forums as well as student-student forums for help and guidance. One challenge with teaching a diverse cohort of students is that academics often understand the way a university works in a very different way to the way students think it might work. So as an academic, I see lines of communication from the university to help with academic support, with wellbeing support, with degree compliance, with enrolment support. And these are all different channels of communication. But students don't necessarily understand that they approach these channels for the right kind of advice. What I mean is, often a student will come to the academic and ask a question that needs to lead to wellbeing support rather than academic advice, or to degree compliance rather than wellbeing support, something like that. So the academic in teaching a diverse cohort needs to be able to redirect communication to the right channel, but also build student understanding of kind of an institutional approach to providing all of these services. I've heard this called institutional literacy, which is an important part of teaching diverse students, is that we help them understand where they can go for support. But in the meantime, we find ourselves doing a lot of the work of redirecting those questions to the right channels.